Hello, I'm thankful that once again you can join me for this Bible study as we take our walk through the King James Version of the Bible. Before we begin, I'd like to extend to you an invitation to join us for worship services at the Bearden Church of Christ. We meet at 745 Cedar Street. If you're coming from out of town, that's Arkansas Highway 203. We meet at 10 a.m. for Sunday morning Bible study, at 11 a.m. for morning worship service, and again at 5 p.m. for Sunday evening worship service. And on Wednesday nights, we meet at 7 o'clock for midweek Bible study. I hope you'll come be a part of us. We look forward to seeing you. So far in our study, we've gone through the first 3 chapters of Genesis. So today we'll start in Genesis chapter 4 with verses 1 and 2. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. From the beginning in the Garden of Eden even, God had given man dominion over plant life and over the animal kingdom, so it's only fitting that of these 2 brothers that one would till the ground and one would keep the animals or tend the sheep, keep the sheep, as the King James says here. As we move into verses 3 through 5, we read, And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. We look at Hebrews 11 verse 4, and we read more information about this there. It says, By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. There's much speculation today as to why Abel's sacrifice was acceptable and Cain's wasn't. There are those who say it was the difference in attitude between the 2 brothers, that Abel sacrificed willingly, whereas Cain did grudgingly. But you know what? That's just assumption. There are others who say that Abel gave of his best, while Cain offered inferior goods. Once again, that's just assumption. The Bible does not tell us that. There are some, and this one does make more sense to me, that say that the difference was because Abel offered an animal and Cain didn't. The law of Moses had yet to be established at this time, but we have read of animal sacrifices being made as an atonement for sin prior to the establishment of the law of Moses. But it's still a bit of an assumption on our part to assume that was the deal here. But I will say this. I fully believe that Cain knew why his offer was not acceptable. And I fully believe God knew what was acceptable. And you know, we can have that same confidence today. When we come to worship the Lord, if we come and our hearts aren't right, we know it. If we come to give of the Lord as part of our worship service, to give of our means, and we do so with a grudging heart, we know we're not right. And Cain knew he wasn't right here, and that's the important thing to remember for us today is if he knew he wasn't right and God knew he wasn't right, so let's be right with the Lord. And then instead of making things right, Cain grew angry that his sacrifice wasn't acceptable. Let us not have that kind of attitude. If we know we're wrong, we're wrong. And don't grow mad at the world, and don't grow mad at God because you're wrong. Instead, make correction and get right. And that's the lesson that we take away from Cain and Abel, is to get right with the Lord. Cain had that opportunity and didn't take advantage of it, and we'll see that even more in our next study, and we'll talk about that more. But as for now, just remember, just because things don't go your way, don't get mad, don't go angry, especially if you're the root, if you're the cause of why things didn't go your way. Make things right instead of getting angry. I thank you for watching today, and I hope you'll watch again. And more than that, I hope you'll join us for worship services at the Bearden Church of Christ. We meet at 745 Cedar Street in Bearden. If you're coming from out of town, that's Arkansas Highway 203. We meet at 10 a.m. on Sunday for Bible study, at 11 a.m. for morning worship service, and again at 5 p.m. for evening worship service. And on Wednesday nights, we meet at 7 o'clock for our midweek Bible study. We hope you'll come be a part of us. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you for watching today. Goodbye. God bless.